All right, good morning, class. How are we doing today? So, recently I've been doing a research study, weighing myself a whole bunch of times, and today, now that I've concluded it, I would like to present my findings to all of you. I think you'll find it very entertaining and interesting, and I think it is, since I'm your teacher, obviously you think exactly the way I do. So, to begin with, what exactly was the study I was conducting? Over the last few weeks, I have been, not even weeks, it's been a solid about 6 months since I began, getting some interest in this topic. I was weighing myself. I'm trying to gain weight. I'm trying to work out and gain weight, and I've been weighing myself a lot of the time. And I was weighing myself at night, every night, and I noticed that there was a lot of inconsistencies between each of my weight measurements. And I was curious why that was. So I did a bunch of research, and I learned that is because when you weigh yourself at night, you introduce a lot of inconsistencies that can be prevented by weighing yourself in the morning. A lot of scientists and health experts recommend that people weigh themselves every morning for the most accurate and reliable body weight measurements. So that's what I did. I started weighing myself in the morning, and I was disappointed to find out that my body weight was actually a lot lower than I thought it was. And I wanted to see why that was and by how much that was. So I actually, about 2 months ago, I started doing a research project where I weigh myself every morning and then every night right before bed. And I wanted to do that to see the difference between morning weight measurements and night weight measurements, seeing if there's any correlation, seeing how big of the difference it was, and just track consistency overall. I already knew that weighing myself in the morning was the better option. However, I did want to see if nighttime measurement had any value, and if there's anything to be learned from doing that. So that's what I did. And over the course of the study, I took 84 measurements, 42 in the morning and 42 at night, and I'm going to talk about the results today. So first off, what do you think my body weight graph looked like? People might think that eating consistently and working out consistently might lead to consistent gains. That is not always true. Many people would think if you graphed your weight, we can see a chart right here, time and then weight. We would look at different points and we would see maybe something like this. Nice straight linear growth, which is obviously ideal, but that is actually very far from the truth. We can see right there, this is just a straight, consistent, we know ourselves at all, we know that a lot of things happen that we can't control, and our bodies are not always the same. So I was going into the study expecting there to be some inconsistencies, but I actually had no idea how extreme those consistencies were. When I went and graphed out all this data I recorded over roughly 2 months, my data ended up looking more like this. Now you can see on this graph, let me draw some lines there. This is not relative, accurate at all, but this gets the rough point across. We can see right here that it's very jagged and very bumpy. Even though this is my morning weight measurements, even though doctors recommend and think that this is the better weight measurement system, you can see it's still very inconsistent. And that is because a lot of your body, it doesn't change the exact same way every single day. A lot of weight can be based on what you did the night before. So if I had a giant meal, wake up the next morning, maybe there's still some food in my stomach, maybe there's still a bunch of water inside my body cells, my water retention rate is higher, which would lead to my morning body weight being higher, even though it is my pure body weight. So obviously there is some fluctuation, and that's okay, because over the course of several months, you can average out and you can see clear progression. Even here, we can see if we draw a trend line right through roughly the middle of this data, we do still see a positive curve. Now, my nighttime weights were kind of the same story. You would expect them to be even more, there might be more fluctuation in between my night measurements from day to day, and that's actually correct. There was more because my body was filled with food, it was filled with water. Some nights I would go to bed right after eating a massive meal. When I weigh myself, that massive meal would make me, up to like several pounds heavier. And that's definitely not ideal if you want to weigh and track your most accurate body weight. So graphing these out, we will find that pretty consistently, my body weight is higher than my morning body weight, which is not surprising at all. If we draw lines here, we can see that they correlate pretty accurately. I average it out, and there's an average of about a 2 pounds difference in weight between my body weight in the morning and my body weight at night. And we can see that here, that they follow roughly the same lines, even though one is my accurate body weight and one is technically inaccurate, which is very cool. We can see if we draw trend lines between these as well, that they do follow similar curves. And that's good. That means that my habits are usually fairly consistent, even though there might be fluctuations from day to day. That shows that over a long period of time, my weight gain and my weight measurements are fairly consistent. So that was one of the most important data points that I learned from this. The second one is how much of a difference it makes depending on when you weigh yourself. Morning weight was very consistently quite a lot lower than my nighttime weight. And that is a good thing, because that means that my morning weight was not being affected by any external circumstances such as food in my stomach, water in my cells, water in my muscles, different things like that. That means that my morning weight was proven to be more accurate for sure. Nighttime weight, I expected going into the study that my nighttime weight would actually fluctuate a lot more and there'd be much less correlation between my night weight and my morning weight. According to the study and all my research, that's actually not the case. There is a very visible correlation between my morning weight and my night weight. Even though my night weight is technically not accurate, it is very consistently inaccurate by 2 to 3 pounds. Over the course of the study, I gained around 8 pounds, almost 10 pounds. And that is reflected in both my morning weight and my nighttime weight. And I think that's quite fascinating. And it's a very useful study. It's a very useful study on how your body processes things throughout the week, throughout the day, throughout the month, on long and short periods of time. It's very fascinating. One of the things I did notice was measuring myself like this helped me track and see things I did in my day-to-day life that would correlate to my weight. So I could see certain spikes on certain days if I drank an extra amount of water or if I ate an extra meal. I could see that reflected in my data pretty soon and pretty quick, and I thought that was very cool. Not specifically in my morning weight or my night weight, it was reflected in both, which I also found interesting. All this is not to say that nighttime weight is any good way to show your weight. Morning measurements are always the best way to go, because that is the most accurate weight you can get. I think it's important, it's been proven that weighing yourself consistently will lead to better, gains, whether you're trying to gain weight or lose weight. Recording your weight measurements will give you points that you can look back on, and points you can track, and points you can project onwards and give you goals you can try to reach. It is proven that constant measurements will help make the changes you want in life. And I think that reflected well in these scores, because I gained almost 10 pounds over just about a 2-month period. And I'm very proud of that. So I hope you guys found this little display very useful. I sure did. I think it was very cool. It was a very good study, and I learned a lot from it. So thank you guys so much.